All right. So I'm here with Shireen Peart, the president of JANN.
Hey.
Yay! And you, Miss Lady, who, to be honest with you, do I know your real name? I know you as Hachi Koeksister, and
And
I know your
Cookie.
Cookie. But what's
Yes,
your name? What's your full name?
my full name is Deborah Brown, though not very
Deborah
many people know it. Most
Brown.
people know me as Cookie or Hachi, which is why I
Okay,
just stick
cool.
to it. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, guess why we have you on this interview today?
To talk about animation stuff.
Yes.
Yes.
And because you are our artist of the month for March.
Ah, oh my
Yeah,
days. What an honor.
not only are you the artist of the month for March, you are Jan's first artist of the
Artist
month
of the month.
ever.
Oh my. I am very honored.
Yeah, and
Mhm.
sorry, Yang Yang Bike. Anyway,
It's fine.
yeah, and the thing is, the reason why we chose you as our artist of the month, we went through like a list of different artists,
Mhm.
but you are constantly working. You're constantly working on stuff, and you're constantly working on your animation, and we really, really applaud that. That's something that we love to see on
Yay,
the
thank
site.
you.
As you might notice, our Facebook
Mhm.
group has like 1,600 members, and
And not
probably
very
only
many are
five are
active.
active. Right.
I get that.
We're
So
working on it.
yeah, so
That's
it's happy to
fine.
see that you're one of the most active people always doing stuff. And you completed an animated short for Kingstoon, you know, under
In less
lots of
than two
stress
months.
in less than
Less
two
than
months.
2 months. Yeah.
So we are going to talk about that later. We're going to talk
Yes.
about that later. But now that we've revealed the secret that you are Deborah Brown,
It's like
we are
finding
going to
Batman
now
as Bruce
delve.
Wayne. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to dive even deeper now, and go way back. Um, into your art history. Like, well, first of all, how old are you?
I am 24. I'm
Oh,
24.
okay,
Yes.
all right, still quite young and vibrant. So tell us how you got into, well, art first of all, and
Hmm.
eventually animation.
Okay. So as far as art goes, unironically, I guess you could say I just was born with the knack for it. My mom would always tell me, like, the moment I discovered a pencil as a 1 year old, scribbles everything. I scribbled on the walls, I scribbled in every book I could find. It just, you know. So I always just had that drive to like just create stuff. Of course, by the time I hit 3, 4, I got like a whole bunch of coloring books and I would spend all my time coloring. Sometimes I'd wake up at 2 in the morning as a baby child and like turn on the bathroom light and just lay on the floor and color. So I've always just had this very strong drive to create stuff even before I started taking art seriously in that sense. And of course, as I got older, I got more and more and more into doing art. Of course, this is the early 2000s. So, like, there wasn't a lot of art resources available. So you just kind of figure things out. You look at something, you try and copy it, or you just try and emulate the thing. And that's basically how it had always been. So I've been drawing for as long as I've been around, I guess.
Okay,
And yeah, of course, as I got older, I would want to hone skills more. I try to do more complex things, and it's just kind of been like that from there until now. As I just
okay,
get older, I do more, I draw more, and yeah, that's
right,
it.
right, right. And do you have
Hmm.
any formal training?
Um, I guess you could say, well, I did do animation at Heart, HCIT. I did 2 years at Edna, and I dropped out because I couldn't afford it. So,
HCIT, that's in Montego Bay.
yes,
You're a Bay
HCIT.
girl?
Oh, well, sort of. I'm actually originally from Kingston, but I'm down here with relatives looking after my mom, and she's looking after her mom. So I'm just here for convenience sake.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. Are there a lot of animators in Montego Bay?
Um, Not a lot, but they are there. I guess once you're an animator, you just kind of know who the animators are. And as far
Yeah.
as I know, there aren't very many. I'd say
Mhm.
I know like seven. I'd say I
Oh,
know about seven. Yeah.
okay. Do you guys ever link up and do work together, or are they the ones that helped you with your animation for Kingstoon?
Um, No, they didn't help me in this case. Well, okay. It's usually just it's the people I met at Heart at HCIT, as a little band of animators there. I actually helped them for Kingstoon 2019 to do a film. Granted, I didn't do very much, but it just, did like some base animations for them. They said I don't think it got selected, but it was like this animation about, a girl, high school girl who was trying to win a race, but she kind of had some mental block about it. So I did some animation there, but ultimately it wasn't my project. I just, helped a bit. It was actually my lecturer and like his main students. And
Okay,
he
okay.
just kind of pulled me in from because I was a part-time student. He just kind of pulled me from the part-time class. Like, you're really good. Help me with this thing. I was like, cool.
Okay. Who's your
As
lecturer
far
there?
as Mr. Beauclair Watson,
Claire
shouting
Watson.
him
Yes,
up.
I know him.
He's really, really, really good. He's a very good teacher.
Yeah, he
Very
is.
attentive. Yeah.
He is.
Hmm.
Shireen, you're not going to sit there and like paint on the wall, you're going to chat to,
Yeah.
Um, it's a special thing, Kevin. Usually you can't get me to shut up. Now I get to be pinned. It's nice playing too.
So let me chat
I'm
you out.
joking. I'm joking. Don't pay me any mind.
That's fine.
Um, no, I was just listening and thinking this is why you need to keep in contact with your school friends because you never know when you're going to need to just grab for a friend.
Yeah,
Yes.
Um,
definitely.
As
I
I could
will.
always get into how I got the people who helped me in this current film, but I guess
Mm.
when we talk about
Yeah,
the film,
when
I'll
we
do
get to
that.
that,
Mhm.
Yeah.
because I'm curious to know if you did art at CXC level.
Oh, about CXC, I did not I did not go to school here at all.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was overseas. I was in Botswana for 15 years. So I did all of my
Botswana.
Wow.
schooling there. Yeah.
Really?
And I only did up to fifth form. Yeah, I was supposed to do sixth, like lower and upper sixth, but I didn't get to. So I pretty much just ended at five. And yeah, so that's as far as my school education goes in that
So
So
sense.
now I
that.
have to ask, right?
Hmm.
How did you get from Botswana to Jamaica?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I I am born Jamaican. I was born,
Mm.
UE Hospital, but I left when I was 2. At the time, there was some people recruiting engineers and nurses and stuff to have like little government contracts in different countries. And at the time in the late 90s, Botswana was the main place they were sending Jamaicans to. And my dad was one of the engineers contacted. And they were like, okay,
Oh,
so here's a government contract. We'll send you to Botswana and you can be there for like 3 years. You can come back. We ended up for 15.
Mm-hmm.
Things happen. We ended up there for 15
Yeah,
years.
yeah, yeah.
And
Time flies, eh?
it's only then that, looking at, I finished high school. I had to think about, okay, what now? There wasn't really any art facilities in the sense down there. And I was
Mm-hmm.
also thinking, what if I moved to South Africa? But then that was another complex thing. And I decided ultimately, you know what? I still have a home nobody can boot me from. So I decided to just
so you
come back
decided to
here.
come
I
It
just
makes
came back
sense.
here because I didn't really have anywhere else to go. I didn't see much of a future there anymore. So I was like, I'll just leave,
I'm
And
guessing
yeah, I
they
ended
didn't
up back
have an
here.
art scene.
Not
They didn't have,
really.
not really.
Not really, no. We had like a little band of like friends who happened to do art, but as far as like a career or anything of the sort in the arts goes, or even formal training, it just didn't exist.
Ah,
So
back.
it's after I left that there was a little snippets of people attempting to do a thing here and there, but nothing really major came of it. There's still no like art industry in Botswana. I would have a better chance in South Africa. And even then, I'm not too sure about it.
Mm.
So, yeah, came back here. Just was looking for places that did animation because I was thinking heavily about what to do as a career. And I'm not like a scholarly type, if I can put it that way. I'm more of a hands-on girl. Don't like
yeah,
writing and reading stuff, though I do that a lot, but it's not like my forte. I
yeah,
like
I get you.
yeah, so I was thinking, as far as arts goes, I don't want to be a starving artist as much as I love to draw. So I looked into like what careers are the most viable, and it was like animation's your best bet. So I was like, I'll do that. I've always kind of had a thing for animation anyway. So yeah, I decided I'll pursue that, and I did. Although I did
Oh well.
start even before then.
Oh
I could
really?
always tell you about the day I did my first animation in 2013.
Well, I mean, a good time is now, because I right
Yeah.
now I want to move from your background into
Mhm.
some of your work, which I have up here. Let's share the screen.
Yes.
So I don't know if you're seeing it.
Not at the moment.
It's popping up. Let's
It's popping
see.
up.
Okay. Oh, my old Instagram. I haven't updated it
Yes,
for so
your
long.
old Instagram.
Yeah, I
I,
have
I, I
not
saw
updated it.
yeah, I saw a new one, but it didn't have any, or at
Oh,
least I
Art
there's a
didn't
new
see
one?
anything on it. I saw
Oh,
one that says Cookie Koeksister, and it had
um,
nothing on it.
I wonder if it's a, I don't know about that one. I'll have to look at it. But yeah, this is like my stuff up to 2 years ago. This is old. I haven't been on
Oh,
Instagram in a while. I'm trying to get a new phone so I can get back on Instagram and
Ooh,
do a
well, we
thing.
can share
Yeah.
the stuff in the group
I
because
could,
I noticed you did a mascot animation up to last night.
well
yeah,
then
I'm
let's take a look at
generally,
that.
yeah, I'm generally most active on Facebook more than anywhere else. So,
Yes,
yeah,
I remember seeing this last night.
yes,
This animation here.
yes, I did. It's pretty simple, but I did it in like 2 hours.
Yeah,
It's a
that's the thing.
2 hour thing.
I do like the fact that waiting for this truck to pass. I do like the fact that you've chosen to do these simple little animations, these simple little gifs, simply because it shows that you're practicing.
Yeah,
you're not waiting till you can do this big grand epic to practice. You're always working on
Mhm.
something, and that's good.
yeah, like those
You know.
small things here and there. Of course, I have a lot of artists. Almost everyone on my friends group is an artist of sorts, so I get tagged in a lot of their work. So
Yeah,
it just
I
kind of
realize
keeps
that.
the whole art thing, you know. Um,
Mhm.
of course, I do commissions here and there. That was one of the commissions I did, and yeah. So yeah,
So
Cool.
we can see the growth over 2 years.
yes.
Yeah, no, definitely, definitely. And in fact, one of the things that I want to bring up
Mhm.
um, is before I even move into your current animation.
Mhm.
Aki girl.
Lucky girl.
Yes,
Yes. Back in
this.
2017.
Yep. Yeah, man. I remember this was not only a lot of people's favorite during this Jan character design competition, but
Mhm.
she joined a club. You know that, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
she did.
She was in the
Yes,
Breakfast Club
yes, with
Oh,
Breadfruit Boy and with
and
yes. Just
Saltfish
Lucky
Lad,
girl breadfruit.
right? They
I
were all
remember.
they
The
all
perfect
became a part of
Jamaican
the same.
breakfast.
Yeah,
Yes,
they all became a part of the same universe, according to the
they did.
fans. You
According.
know.
I'm totally game for that. Honestly, one thing I love being about an artist with my kind of brain is I'll just come up with the most obscure prompts and just make
Hmm.
something out of it. Like when people ask me, "How did you come up with Aki Girl?" It's not
Yeah.
that deep. There was no elaborate process. I was standing on my back at the balcony, staring at some Aki trees, and while I'm staring vacantly at the Aki trees, another part of my brain was thinking of like Heavy from Team Fortress 2. It was like this big guy with a big old minigun, what do you
machine.
call, like a machine gun. Yeah, that was my inspiration. I was thinking about him while staring at Aki's, and then I was like, let's make her a magical girl. And Aki girl happened. That's it.
No,
Wow.
so
Wow.
I'm just laughing because magical girls seem to be the theme among female Jamaican artists
It's
because
really ironic because
yeah,
I never really grew up on magical girl stuff. It's just something, I like the concept of it, but I have not avidly watched it. So,
no, no, I was saying because I know Janelle has her carnival magical girls. Um,
mhm.
mine, I do magical creatures, and I know Danielle also has her magical I think it's a witch. So I was just
And I
thinking,
also
is
have
there
a
like,
friend who has, I know she wanted to enter Kingstoon, but things happened. Her computer messed up. But she has like a Dr. Bird who's like a magical girl themed um hummingbird. Oh yes, more old
Okay.
art.
Mhm.
Yeah.
How do you feel? How do you feel now looking at your old art?
I don't mind it. At this
Okay.
stage, I remember I had spent years thinking the pinnacle of beautiful art is clean lines. So I was obsessed with trying
with
to get perfect clean lines, and it took me a long time. And in 2019, I finally achieved clean lines. And then I realized I didn't like it.
I was waiting for that part because I went through that stage too. It was just
Yeah.
like, if I could
I
just
mean, it looks
get
good, but it doesn't
Yeah.
feel like me. It feels too sterile in that sense. I would say like my
Mm.
most recent work, like 2020 and like this year, encompasses the kind of line work I'm going for. So
Right,
I would
right.
say like um
Seeing if I can find some of it.
yeah. Um hmm. I guess let's go on my
Oh,
account
actually, yeah, let me go on your account and go into the photos
photos.
and
Yeah, and
look for
Hachi's
Hachi's
photos.
photos.
I guess like the number 5 there.
This one here?
No, number
no
5
number five, the girl
with
in the red hat
the
with
red
the
hat.
blue.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
Yeah,
So like line quality more like this. It feels sketchier and messier, but it feels more like it has texture to me. So
and
like this
like
is
it has
more the kind of thing I'm going for. Of course, this was kind of a messy, rough thing, but just the kind of line quality I'm going for. I like,
more
you know,
expressive lines.
yeah, more expressive, a little messier, but still like pretty to look at without it just looking
Yeah.
all over the place. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So that's your thing. That's your philosophy.
Yes.
Okay. Well, Larry, so this is a clip from your
Animation.
recent animation that you were working on for Kingstoon. So my thing now, I want to ask you,
Mhm.
why did you decide to do a piece for Kingstoon?
Okay. I have several reasons. Some are silly and some are a little more thoughtful, I guess. The first reason, I think the reason I had the strongest was I needed something to bulk up my demo reel. And I was thinking, if I have at least one short film, it will give me
Hmm.
enough content to make a demo reel that I feel content with for the year. So that was my first motivator. My second motivator was spite. I joke about
Spite.
this one a lot.
Let me
Okay,
hear that.
it's not spite in a sort of animosity. It's more like playful in a sense. So Dream Dust Expo.
Hmm.
When I
I see where this is
so
going.
when I was streaming, when I was watching DJ Sparkle Dust, we were of course, since we had the animation submitted and everything, and we just talk about stuff animation related. And at some point, he was talking about like free programs to animate on. And at some point, he was like, "Oh, there's Krita as well, but Krita's not that great. It's so
You.
limited and all that." And then you have me, a Krita main. I'll
Absolute
show you.
spite.
I'll show you. In fact, I'll show you. I was gonna make a whole film in Krita,
That would be
and
awesome,
I
though. That
did.
would be awesome.
And I did. I did all of the animation, well, most of the animation on Krita. I would outsource here and there just for
Hmm.
other little features that were not present in Krita, but still free programs. So I use Medibang because I have a pixel brush in Medibang. So I did like a little section which is fully pixel art because I wanted it, they're supposed to be like a part of the film that's sort of video game-ish looking. And
Hmm.
the pixel brushing Krita wasn't good, but I was used to it in Metabank. So I would go there, do the thing, import it into Krita, and then just do whatever I was doing. So yeah, that was my second main reason for doing this. My
Okay.
third main reason was kind of to honor a friend, I would say.
All right.
I did mention this in a post on JANN at some point. I'm in another group called Acrylic Moon, and
Hmm.
our founding admin there was really passionate about us making a film for an animated film for Kingstoon, for the next Kingstoon. We all got to meet up in 2019, and then a month later we lost him to a fire.
What?
Yeah.
Oh,
That was a very hard time for us and everything, dealing with his sudden loss and everything. And so I decided from there, even if the whole group can't do it, I still want to honor him by trying to make a film for Kingstoon, because this is something he really wanted. He had already started making groups and gathering all of us and like, who knows how to animate? Let's do a thing. And of course, we never got very far with it since, this all happened very suddenly. So
yeah,
that was
yeah.
my third reason. So make a film because he would have liked this. I have my reasons, but I also want to honor him through my reasons, And those are my three driving forces to make this.
Nice, nice. Those are three
Spite
excellent,
and
excellent driving forces.
yeah, spite, honor, and just a general desire to do the thing.
Yeah, yeah. No, that
Yeah.
is, see, that's why we chose you as Artist of the Month because, honestly, I really love to see drive like that. I know Shireen is just as passionate about that as well. We want to see people creating, even if you're not doing an animation, do a comic. If you're not doing a comic,
Just
just do
create
characters.
something. Yeah.
Yeah, just
Work,
create something.
keep working on yourself, keep
Keep working.
pushing.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
something I
there's.
definitely like to remind myself and sometimes other people is don't fear imperfection. You're not going to be good at something immediately, but if you never do the thing, you will never get better. So if you mess something up, if you don't feel like this is what you wanted to do, it's lacking, it's like you did the thing. That in itself is a huge feat. Just do the
Yeah,
thing.
just
And
do the
don't beat
thing.
yourself up. Be kind to yourself. Do your best. And even if your best isn't the best, just feel good in yourself knowing that you tried. And if you
Yeah.
Yes.
keep doing that, if you're kind to yourself, it will further motivate you to improve from, learn from your mistakes, improve, and you keep going and you keep going. And then eventually you look back like a year later and you're like, wow,
hmm
that's awesome.
Yeah. That is so true. That is so
Yeah.
true. All right.
And you will surprise yourself with what you think you can and cannot do.
Yeah.
That is true. That is true. I mean, there are a lot of things that honestly, like I've learned, and you have this tendency where if you don't feel your artwork is good, you're researching and researching and researching, and
Oh,
you're never actually like practicing the
Do the
stuff you're
thing.
researching.
the
You're just
Yeah.
wormhole.
researching.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the
Some
And
wormhole of
people, they'll have like an album with like a million references and you don't use a single one. You don't do any of the practice or the tutorials because you're like,
right.
oh, when I
I
get
would love
better,
it
but
if
you're
you
not
wouldn't
doing that.
at my Pinterest like that.
I get that.
Like,
I get that.
you're very loud right now at my Pinterest.
No,
I say
honestly,
you.
I'm calling myself out too. I'm calling everyone, including myself.
And,
Shireen is over there like, hey, listen, I don't appreciate your tone. So I feel
I,
offended right now.
no, when I said you'd be surprised at what you can do, I was actually talking to myself because I also entered Kingstoon this year
Beautiful.
and I
Beautiful.
did the character design
Beautiful.
the section. So my computer, like your friend, my computer stopped working before the original deadline. And I was just like, wow, you really chose this moment. But
Okay,
then,
so like about the whole original deadline thing, I got a huge scare on the day I submitted because I
Oh,
submitted a day before the deadline at
hmm
2 in the morning because I was grinding. I worked every single day and
I know, I
from
remember
morning
the
until
updates.
I passed out. I did not go to bed. I passed out. And when I woke
hmm
up, I was right back on the work. So I
I
remember
know them vibes, man.
the morning I submitted on the 21st. I was so excited. I couldn't sleep. I didn't fall asleep until 5 just because of how excited I was to finally finish this and upload it. And I saw it got greenlit. I was like, oh my God, I'm so excited. But then when I did pass out and I eventually woke up, there was like the sinky feeling of, oh no, what do I do with myself now? But then around midday, um,
What, the
flow,
extension?
flow,
Flow.
Ooh.
flow happened.
Yeah,
Man,
yeah.
the
Sorry,
artist
Flo, if you're
community.
listening to this, but you know how it go. You know how it go.
No, it is
What
the artist
happened?
community has some stories about Flow and Digicel. It's not just Flow, but we have some stories.
So let me tell you what I was like. A part of me was like, if I did not go to bed at some unholy hour, what would have happened?
Freaking
Mm,
that was me yesterday, except it was a Flow that was JPS.
oh wow, oh
So
wow.
I
Oh,
decided to I wanted to get finished at 4. Oh, that was a pipe dream, just to let you know. I did all my sketches the night before and said, okay, I'll ink and color on Thursday. I had 12 drawings to ink and color in one day.
I
12.
honestly, I get that. I really
Ooh.
do.
It was like ink, color, add shadows, add lighting. So I
It's
was like,
very
okay.
daunting.
I sat down. I didn't start coloring until 7 o'clock. Sat down and said, "You're going to have to invent a new coloring method right now because if you do your
I get
original
that.
coloring method, it's not gonna work."
Mm.
So
I
I
can
learned
relate
how.
to that.
And
Like,
and you know the interesting thing is, Krita has some very interesting coloring techniques that save a lot of time.
it
I
Yes,
don't.
it,
does.
The fastest one I don't necessarily like because it's a very unnatural way of coloring things, but it's really fast. They have this method where like you literally just place dots in the areas that you want the colors to go, and once you've selected it, it literally just fills the colors in, and
Well, that's the thing. I heard that it happens on Clip
yeah,
Studio Paint, but I didn't know Krita could do that.
I
yeah, man,
think you
Krita
can
can do
also
it. Krita can do
do
it.
that on Procreate. Um,
Mhm.
but to
It's fast,
say
but it's so unnatural. Like every time I look at it, I'm like, this is cheating. Feels like
there's no
cheating.
such thing, don't use that word.
I
People will
know.
be
It
like,
just
I
using
just
feels
feel
like it.
you
references
kind
is
of feel
cheating.
disconnected from your work in that sense
Yeah,
because it's just
exactly.
so,
That's the
yeah,
thing.
I get that.
That's the thing. You know,
That's
they have
kind of
they have
sort
one.
of how I felt when I was shading all of my animations.
Mm, yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, they have one that's a step down where it's like you kind of just draw, like you just draw this kind of loop and it fills in wherever you've covered the loop. That one doesn't feel as much like cheating because you're actually doing it
Yeah.
versus
Just
selecting areas and going, all right, fill in the color, But yeah.
I had
yeah.
that's the second one is what I used last night to get my flat stone,
Mm.
the loop.
Oh,
Um,
okay, okay.
I
and
mean,
then
whatever works. So when you have to cut, like, save on time, as much as it feels weird,
Yeah.
it comes in clutch. Like, you just gotta. I don't like
yeah,
it. I gotta
Yeah,
do
because
it.
I think you have to separate the art from the business. You do the art
Yeah.
for the satisfaction. So if it's a piece where it's like, okay, this piece doesn't matter. It's just for me to feel good. Then you can use whatever method. But then when it comes to crunch time,
Business.
this is a commission. The fastest way works because
Yeah,
save you
pretty
some time,
much. Pretty
so
much.
you
I'm
don't have to
sure
deal
Hachi
with this
can tell
headache.
us stories from her animation.
Trust.
There, so yeah, man, we need to get into that because that is the thing that I really wanted to get in. Because I mean, because I'm an animator, Sharon's an animator, we can definitely appreciate how much work went into that short film. How long is the short film?
It is 6 minutes
Whew.
and 20 seconds long with credits.
Wow.
Without credits, it's in the five. It's almost 6 minutes without credits.
Okay,
It's like
okay,
five
I,
minutes something.
okay,
Yeah.
So
okay,
you did
okay.
a 6 minute, 20-second animation in 2 months.
In 1 month and 25 days.
So,
Woo!
so here's what I want. Here's what I want us to talk about now. Because this is the real story. This is the real story. The real story is, how did you feel when you were doing this animation? Like, were there points where you wanted to give up? Were there points where you
Yes,
wanted to like throw the computer across the room? Were there
yes.
points where you're like, yo, Kingstoon is not
It's
happening?
So
happening.
many. So many. Let me tell you, that was intense. In so many ways, I was extremely intense, especially for reasons like I was jumping in the deep end because up until this point, the longest animation I had ever made was like 20 seconds and it was a
Hmm.
sketch. It was a sketch animation. Now
Right.
here I have to do pre-production, production, post-production, everything, all the editing. I had to learn After Effects for the first time ever. I did not know how to use anything
Oh
about After
wow.
Effects, so I had to
Oh, so
like
you
And
learned
learn
yeah.
compositing
everything.
too.
Yes, so
And
I'm
After
learning
Effects, as
everything
After
new.
Effects is not the easiest thing to learn if
It's
you've
not.
never
If
used
you
it.
have no clue.
It's extremely daunting. But trust,
Mhm.
I just lived on YouTube. When I wasn't working, I was on YouTube looking at as many tutorials as I can. I would just open tabs and go back in. Let me tell you, it was insane. But generally, there were a lot of points where I was super frustrated. I was tired. I was demotivated. I just did not. But then I would think, I always just kind of, sometimes I would take a break. It was hard to do because of how little time I had to work in the first place.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like, sometimes you need to take a step back
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
you will drive yourself ragged and you'll do way more harm than good ultimately. So I would take like a couple hours. Sometimes I would just, play a game or just read or watch some YouTube or
Hmm.
something. And then I would come back with a little bit of a fresher head. It's like, okay, I'm
Yes.
still not feeling so into it. And another thing that
Right.
really helped is one of the main things for me is because up until last year, I wasn't really animating much because I always had a sort of mental block with it. It was always like there was this unseen obstacle that was stopping me from doing the thing. Like there were multiple
Hmm.
times where I'd attempt and then I would give up because it's like, and I realized ultimately it's because I kept on seeing everything as a big picture and it like
Right.
had to get from point A to point B just seemed so huge and so daunting that it would make me not want to do the thing. So what I ended up doing here was I would break everything down into micro tasks.
Yes.
So I would know what direction I'm going in, but it's like for now, focus on just doing this. Focus on just doing that. Things that I
Yeah,
can
man.
probably finish in a day. So breaking it up into those little baby tasks kind of really helped, I would say. It helped with how overwhelming it seemed.
Hmm.
And it also allowed me to kind of like slowly ease into all of these things in animation I'd never done before. Because again, it was always ever sketched animations. Like my demo reel back in 2018, 99% of it was just sketches, sketched animations, little, scribbly things here and there.
Right. Right.
Um, yeah, now here I'm doing everything: line art, coloring, shading, backgrounds, all of that stuff I never do. Backgrounds, oh God.
Yeah, I
Lighting.
was just about to ask you
This is
what's the
how,
task you hate the most?
what I hated the most.
Oh, so it's not the backgrounds. The backgrounds weren't the worst.
It's not the background for the simple reason that the one person I had directly helping me is really good at backgrounds. See, like these trees, that was not me.
Yes.
That was my that was my background artist.
Can you
Ah.
introduce us? Cause we're not so
Yeah.
strong
So
on background.
that's fine. So her name is Alia. She goes by the art handle Spamont, which is SPHOMONT. She's an amazing artist.
Okay.
Beautiful. She also did animation, though she's more illustration based, but she can animate. She was like, you know what? When she heard I was doing this film, she was like, you know what? I'm sitting on my degree here. If you need help, just holler at me. So
Is that
I had
Alia
her,
Thompson?
yes, she.
Oh, I taught her. I know
Yes.
her.
So she was my main background artist. She also helped me with like with the eel, like with the
Hmm.
water. She animated the
Mhm.
water for me in that scene.
Oh,
And
cool, cool, cool.
yeah, just to kind of alleviate the amount of work I'm doing since I was doing basically everything else. So
Hmm.
yeah. But I would think the hardest thing for me was probably funny enough, keyframing. Keyframing was the hardest for me because with time, I mean, it's not that I have an issue doing keyframing, but for me, the main issue was the transition between storyboarding. I did all of that traditionally, like on paper, because I seem
Yeah,
to think better when I do things traditionally. So I did
yeah,
all of my storyboarding on paper. But then it was transferring the storyboard
Into the
into the
digital.
app and like timing everything and then having to alter things because of time constraints. So like the constant back and forth, sometimes I would fully scrap a scene and start over and all that kind of thing. So like that for me was the most frustrating. And on top of that, I have to make sure everything's clear because there's no audio, there's no dialogue. So I need
right.
to make sure all of the actions depict everything that's going on. I have to make sure I set everything up properly, the scene, the everything happening. So like that for me was the hardest thing to deal with. And that would be
Okay.
in, early phase. Yeah. Everything else kind of would have like its little annoying moments, but ultimately it was so clear cut that it wasn't an issue. For me, the biggest hurdle was always foundations. How do I want this scene to look?
Right.
How do I make the shadows look? That's kind of hard. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
Crazy.
All right.
You brought up some good points though, about breaking it up into micro tasks, making it more manageable. Like that's something that people definitely underestimate. I know, like I have to do the same thing because what will end up happening is I'm focusing on point B, and because I'm focusing on point B, while I'm working on this piece, I'm thinking to myself, oh, I need to hurry this up so I can get to that, and so I can get to that, and I'm not
Yes.
concentrating on this,
The thing you
you know,
need to do at the
right?
moment. Yeah,
And I'm
because you're so
shortchanging
occupied.
this, right?
Or that.
As opposed to
Um,
just saying, I have this scene to work on. I'm focusing on this scene. And
mhm.
when I'm done, I will think about the next thing. I know where I'm going already. I'm
Yeah.
focusing on this.
Yeah, like you can
It's
see the way you may just have to do a little hopscotch to get there. But it's better
right.
to hopscotch than to just think, oh, I have this entire mountain to climb. Oh no,
Yeah.
hopscotch is
So that's
better.
definitely great advice that I hope people watching will definitely pay attention to that specific
Please,
advice.
please. Yeah.
There's one piece of advice there. I also want them to pay attention to.
Mhm.
Take breaks.
Take breaks.
Take.
Take
Yeah,
breaks.
yeah.
It's
Take
hard.
breaks.
It is hard when you're on a tight deadline. The hardest thing in the world is
It's
to
just
take
that.
a break.
Yeah, man.
But um, I
It's
mean,
for the best. For your mental health, for your focus. It's
Right.
just generally art. It's art advice that a lot of people have. Whether you're an animator, an illustrator, or whatever, take a step back.
Yeah, man. I had a student call me one day and she was saying, like, yo, she kind of having like a bit of a nervous breakdown because she's trying to do some work and she just can't do any work and she hasn't been able to draw in days and, and she doesn't know what
that
to do. And I was just like,
take a
I said,
break.
listen, I know there's a pandemic and you can't go out and gallivant, but I was like, go for a walk, go outside and, watch some birds, go throw a ball, go watch something, play a video game, like just
Something you
go
like.
distract yourself completely. I
Yeah,
was telling her that it's like working out. You're lifting the weight, you're lifting the weight, you're lifting the weight. At some point, your muscles can't lift the weights anymore. They're
you need
tired.
to.
You
Yeah,
have to put them down. You have to go rest. You have to let the muscles recover. Then you can come back. But until then, it's just futile lifting, and it's just not going anywhere. And
instead of
she
beating
went for a
yourself.
walk with her mom, and she was back, and she was fine. It was like, there you go,
Yeah.
there you go.
And there's also scientific aspects to just breathers. And even just to breaking down everything. Don't underestimate dopamine and serotonin. Those things are lifesavers,
Yes, they
especially when
are.
you're working. You need serotonin, you need dopamine. And
Yes, you
these
do.
things are being drained from you as you work, especially on
Hmm.
an
No
intense
matter how
deadline.
much
You
you
have to
enjoy what you're
replenish.
doing.
You need to replenish. You will burn out otherwise. And this is from somebody who is infamous for burning herself out over and over again. Everything I'm saying is because I learned it the
The
hard
hard
way,
way.
the hard trust. Even to this day, I'm not 100% there yet, but like
Hmm.
me 2 years ago versus now has learned a lot because I went through a 1 year long burnout because of
Oh,
how
you too?
insanely hard I was pushing myself. It's like I felt bad for taking breaks. I would like
You,
trust.
mhm.
2018, ridiculous. All of my friends cussing me out. You need to stop. You need to
You need
slow
to
down.
stop.
You're working too hard.
Remember to eat. Remember to drink water.
That too.
Take
I
care of
always
yourself.
forget that. I'm not gonna lie because I do have a tendency of completely forgetting that I am a whole human person who needs to be looked after when I'm working because I'm so in the zone. While I was doing the animation, I'd have food next to me. I'd have water next to me. So instead of me like having to stop everything and go
Yeah,
get up and go do a thing, it's like it's right there.
right,
So I just
right,
need
Just
to
right,
look to the left, and I was like, right, I need to hydrate. Got my water, got my food, whatever. So,
um,
yeah.
right. So here's what I want to jump to now.
Hmm.
So this story, first of all, what's it called? Give us a little background about what it's about. Don't give away too much. So, people have to go on Kingstoon's
To
live and
watch.
watch it in April. But what's it called? What's it about? And where did the idea come from?
Right. So this film is called Don't Eat That Gilhana.
You're a D&D fan.
I am a D&D fan.
You are a D&D
Honestly, yeah. So the story is basically this little purple child here, whose name is Gilana, who's our title character, really wants to eat poison. She really wants to eat poison, like so bad. She'll do everything to get it. But between her party, who is more responsible than her, and just generally the universe, they're like, no, no poison for you, Gilana. That's basically the whole thing. So with the story, it's like as things happen and events happen, she slowly begins to learn that maybe there's better ways to use poison other than eating it. It's a very simple premise. But I kind of wanted a little bit of character development for Gilly, so she doesn't just do the same nonsense over and over. She learns bit by bit as things happen, and ultimately we get a pretty good ending where she learns her lesson. Okay, I won't eat that. I won't eat that. Do something better. So that's basically the plot. Purple
I have
child
a,
went to prison.
I have a
But
question,
everyone said no.
right? I have a question, and you don't have to answer it because I think other people might have this question. But did she eat poison before and like the taste? Is that why?
To be honest, it's a mystery. Like we don't know. We don't
Okay,
know.
okay.
Yes, and I'll explain why we don't know when I get to what inspired me to do this. Which is, I guess now, since I just explained like the plot.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
Inspiration.
So my inspiration was D&D.
What? I never
It
would have
was
guessed
D&D.
that.
Who would
Really?
have thought?
Damn, I'm
So
so
this
slow.
last year, around mid last year, I had my first D&D campaign because I had heard about D&D for about a year, but I didn't know much about it. I just knew I liked the idea, but I've always kind of like been into fantasy-esque role-playing type stuff. Like I love role-playing games. Just where you can be whatever you want and you can do things and you have quests and blah blah blah. I love that. Which is also why I'm high-key obsessed with Skyrim. So same premise. So what happened is Andre. Oh, I also bullied him to joining the pitch, the concept for Kingstoon. So you'll probably see his stuff
Awesome.
hopefully. Yeah. So he
Awesome.
invited me and two other people, and then eventually a third person, to do a tutorial campaign. So I made my character, who's Tegan, is this chick with the chicken leg. You'll know when you see her. Any girl you see with a chicken leg, that's me. All the other characters are not mine in that
Ah,
sense.
okay.
So I made her, and then another friend of mine made Gilly, another friend of mine made Sage, who's this cat, and then eventually we got another person who's more experienced, like halfway into the campaign, who made like a Goliath, who's like, um, he has a major role in the film, so you'll know when you see him.
He keeps
Okay.
all of you alive, doesn't he?
Basically, we all kind of keep each other alive in a sense, but she's our wildest card, so she's the most chaotic. So she's basically our daughter. We just have to watch her. So while during the campaign, just with all the shenanigans that were going on, I like thinking of things like, what if I was watching it like a series? What if I was watching a thing? So I just start to visualize everything like if this was a cartoon or an animation or something. And as we were doing our campaign, I'd start to get like little ideas and stuff. We recorded everything so we could always go back and listen over to what we did and what happened. And at some point I was like, I feel like Gilana would be our main character. She's just such a wild card and so ridiculously entertaining that I think she'd make a good main character. And we finished our campaign eventually, and then Kingstoon was coming around the corner. I was going to start work in October, but my tablet broke and I didn't get a tablet until Christmas Eve, which is why I was on such a tight deadline. Like I hit the ground running. The moment I got my tablet, the following day I started pre-production. So
Okay.
yeah.
Nice. No,
So
no
of course,
waste, no time.
no time, hit the ground running quite literally. So I was thinking, I feel like Gilana would make a very entertaining main character. And eventually I was like, you know what? This so much has happened in our campaign that I can just pull what I know of the characters, the world, everything. It's already pre-established, and I'll just make this a film. So I decided I'll come up with a simple plot. something Gilly really wanted to do throughout the campaign was collect and eat poison. We don't know why. Same reason we don't know why she's purple. She's just purple. She just wants to eat poison. We don't get it. So I was like, you know what? I'll make that the plot. She wants to eat poison. Everyone said no. Because that's also something we did in the campaign. She wanted to eat poison or she wanted to do something dangerous. We said, no, Gilana, don't do that. So that became like the premise for that. And yeah, while I was looking, I suggested it to my D&D group. I was like, okay, guys, I want to make a film for Kingstoon. I'm going to use our campaign. So I got everyone's go ahead. Like, you guys are okay with me using your characters? And you're like, absolutely, go ahead. It would be an honor. So they're like, cool. So I have everyone set there. I have the world that was already built and all that. But then it came down to help. Help, because how am I going to tackle a film by myself? So I put it out there and I went to another group with like my, like my little circle of friends who are almost exclusively artists, by the way, at this point. I have a lot of art friends. And I told them, guys, I'm going to do a film for Kingstoon. That's when Alia pitched in and said, if you need help, I will help you. So I told her, so you have Krita? Yes. Would you rather do backgrounds or would you rather help me with character animation? She said, I'll do backgrounds. So I was like, cool. So we got backgrounds sorted. The two of us will do backgrounds. Where I lack, I will give it to you and vice versa. So that's how I got like my one person on. And
I'm happy she jumped on board. I mean, she's usually very gung ho about jumping on board. She likes to work with people who like to work. She volunteered on Agwe, so she got a chance to work on Agwe, which is an animation that was done back in, I think it was 2017 as well.
It was. If it's not 2017, it's 2018.
Or 2018, 2018, yeah, 2018. Sorry.
No, it's 2018 because I was in Jamaica, so
yeah, man. But man, she Alia likes to work, and she's a good artist, good character designer, good with doing animating or illustrating children's books and that sort of thing.
So. Good at that. She has a nice soft style to her. And I realized I did do a little test where I would have all of us like do the same kind of objects so that I could compare like art styles and see how well it would blend. I actually got a third person to help me, though she had a more passive role, which is my best friend, Deborah. So I know like what she's really good at is she has, I would say, as far as art styles go, hers is the most different. So it would be harder for me to incorporate her style, which is why I didn't use her as much. But she's very good when it comes to creatures, monsters, man-made constructs, stuff like that. She's an amazing artist when it comes to that. She's an amazing artist overall, but for the sake of blending.
Right.
So what I did have her do was, I think you had this scene where you have Gilly like in this ruin, and he's like a giant
the dragon looking
like that scorpion. It's a giant scorpion. Yeah, so like I had her do that. For me. I can't do creatures at all. Alia did the entire background. That was all Alia.
Nice work.
Yeah.
Nice work.
So I had her do that. And so it was a more minor role. She designed the bottles for me in the second part, just as a base. So like I just asked her to sketch the bottle, like, can you design this for me? And then I would take it from there and do a thing with it. So yeah. So that's how I got my little team. It was the three of us for the most part. And
So this is a pixel art section?
That was the pixel art I did in Metabang.
I like it.
Yes.
I like it a lot.
Yeah. And of course we got, art. That's Alia's handle. It's a mix on my profile. I draw for other people a lot. I really like drawing people's characters, even more than my own, which is, I guess, explains why my entire film is just other people's characters for the most part.
Well, I mean, your D&D campaign is basically everybody's, because it's collaborative storytelling is what I like to describe it as.
The butt was one of the scenes. I will also admit, it's like this pirate, like a dead pirate, and he's got like an arrow in his butt.
Oh, that thing that I passed.
Yeah.
Where was that?
Yes, right there. My mom calls him Bubble Butt, so his name is Bubble Butt. It's canon.
I mean, an arrow to the butt as opposed to an arrow to the knee.
I mean, there is an arrow in the knee as well.
Yeah, there is. There it is.
So he was not spared. Okay.
So
Not
like,
spared.
The
as
running
a disclaimer,
Skyrim joke.
yeah, there's so okay. I'm not gonna lie. This film is one thing I was adamant on when I'm making it. Um, I will admit, starting off, I was very tempted to like conform to standards of animation. Oh yeah, there's two characters from the film, but in a more proper art style, just sketch them in between work. So that's Chicken Leg Girl and our Goliath. It's like, very, very important character in the film. So one thing I told myself heavily throughout this film is I want this to feel like I made it. Oh yeah, these are some
Mm,
studies I did the day I got my tablet. Just to
cool.
practice backgrounds so that I could
Hmm.
do backgrounds for the film,
Hmm.
because I'm not good at them. So this is just some stuff I did. Um, so one thing I definitely said is I need this film, no matter what. It needs to feel like I made it. I don't want it to conform to, because you always hear a lot of things like, oh, when you're doing an animation, yeah, it has to look a certain way. You have to
Right.
animate it on XYZ frames. You have to have a clean brush and clean lines and clean this and whatever. And just nothing that felt like me. So I was like, if I made a film, I want people to watch it and know I made it. I want to put myself in my work. I want to feel proud of what I've made in the long run. And what is an element of me that is undeniable, unmistakable that I can put in an animation? And I thought of it for 5 minutes and I realized there were two answers. It must be cute and it must be chock full of memes. If there is no meme reference in there, did I really make it? Like, I didn't want it to be like the memes to be so overpowering that it just feels
Hmm.
like you're just watching a giant meme. But I
Right,
kind of
right,
like quietly incorporated stuff. So it's kind of like if you know, you know, and if you don't, it's okay. So it's not in your face, but if you look and you'll be able to pick things out. Just little things to kind of keep people more engaged in a sense, if
right.
you're into that like aspect of the internet. So like there's memes littered around, like, arrow to the knee. The arrow on the butt thing is a more obscure reference to Shrek, actually.
Oh.
Mm,
Yeah.
So just things like that. You wouldn't normally think much of it until you really look at it and you're like, wait, there's a reference in here somewhere.
mm,
I
So,
mean, and that's good because not only for you, but I know a lot of bigger companies do that as well. They put memes, they put references in their work. One example I came across recently is I don't know if you know of this game, Genshin Impact is really big
I
right
do.
now.
I do.
I got an achievement the other day. It was called Lizard Spock. So, so it was, and the way you get it is there's a monster in the game that has a move called rock paper scissors. So it turns into a giant fist, it does scissors, and then you get this rock paper scissors. Yeah, sorry, paper then scissors. So if you get knocked out by this move, if you get hit by all three of them consecutively, you get the achievement Lizard Spock. So as a Big Bang Theory reference.
Wow.
So
References are beautiful, and it keeps a level of engagement, right?
yeah, it
Like,
makes
yeah.
the process fun for
yeah,
you, so you
it
can
makes the
keep
process
working on
fun
it.
for you. It makes it fun for the people watching or indulging in it. Because again, maybe it could be a case that somebody who's not so into the RPG aspect is watching this thing and they're like, okay, yeah, sure. But then what if they really like memes? So they may not necessarily like the theme or the genre of your work, but you kind of keep them engaged because you've littered memes that they understand in there, and vice versa. If you don't understand memes but you really like the film, you can enjoy it even if all the references go over your head. So, engagement, fun,
Yeah,
have a good
yeah.
time with it.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. So tell me something then. What drives you? What drives you to animate so frequently? Because I mean, I'm constantly
Mhm.
on the Facebook group and seeing, a short
Another
2 second
animation.
or 3 second animation. So, most people
Um,
don't do that. So, what
as
motivates you to do
often.
that?
Um, Honestly, probably just the fact that it's just something I really want to do. And one thing I really love about animation is I think for the most part it outlives you. So like, I like the idea of creating things while I'm here that people can enjoy in any capacity, share around, have a little giggle at. You know, animation is a form of storytelling, so you can talk to people through an animation. You can engage people through an animation. I love giving back as a creative person, which is why, as much as possible, I like to involve other people in my work, which is why so much of my art has nothing to do with me. It's other people's characters, other people's creations, other people's worlds. And I want to be like a medium to express that. Like, I appreciate you as a creative person. It fuels me as a creative person. Let's create this thing together. I love that about animation. It's bringing life into people's work.
Yeah.
And whether I'm here or not, I want to make enough. I want to get better because I want to make more. I want to meet more people. I want to have more people I can collaborate with. And then when I'm not here, it doesn't have to end. All of my stuff has been left behind. It can inspire other people to continue. That's like the main driving force for me as an animator. I'm very passionate about leaving a legacy and inspiring other people to do the same. And I also want to especially emphasize that that's not a word. Emphasize. We'll just pretend that was English. We'll pretend I am top tier in English. I'm not. And I really just want to like really drive home that you don't have to be a fantastic artist to create, because it's very easy for us to compare ourselves with. I do it a lot, honestly. I have to catch myself sometimes. I'll be looking online for inspiration. You see all these people with their amazing fluid animations and their forms. Everything is just so amazing. Then you look at your potato animation in comparison. It's like, what am I doing?
No, what
But
you
it's
do is
like,
you hug your potato and you say, it's okay, you will grow into a good,
you
strong
will,
plant.
right? You will become fries or something amazing. Mashed potatoes, whatever. We'll make this potato a great potato. It's fine.
Yes.
Yes, I have to catch myself and remind myself it's not about the skill level. It's about your drive, your willingness to learn, and like what is motivating you ultimately. Because when you think about it, not everyone is like a super talented, amazing artist, top tier skills. I mean, those are the ones that get put on pedestals the most because they stand out so much, but the majority of us are average. The majority of artists in the world are average, and they still get by with the right mindset. So I
And
want to
they
be a
still become
perfectly
famous
average
too.
artist, and even famous. Like, you even look at like different artists who get like a lot of commissions and who make a lot of money, and there's a good amount of them whose skill is like on par with your own, sometimes even a little lower. But there's something about them that makes people care, that makes people want to support them. And that's the most important element of being an artist. It's like, make people care, make you care about your work as well. It's not just about skill. You could be a top tier um, Leonardo da Vinci's second coming and still not have much of an audience because you have the skill, but you don't have the marketability, the drive, the passion, the community to care enough about you in that sense. So, yeah, get people to
Well, this is a
understand,
nice.
accept that you are perfectly average. Even if you're average, you will get better. And you'll never get better if you don't suck first.
Hmm.
Those are words I live by. In order
Just,
to not
just,
suck, you just gotta suck for a while.
just accept the fact that it's gonna happen. There is no escape. Even
Yeah.
geniuses suck.
Even geniuses suck
Yeah,
at
yeah,
something.
and
Everyone sucks at something,
you
and
know
it's
what's
fine.
shocking? And I mean, this is a nice segue into the next segment. But before I jump into the next segment, like what's shocking to me is like there are some artists that you look at their work and you go, man, they're so good. I don't know if I even have enough time on this earth to catch them up. But then you, if they show you their like scribbles, you know, the stuff that they sketched in like 30 seconds or a minute or 2 minutes or whatever, you look and you go, wait, that's not far off from what I can do. And you realize that, hey, they do sucky drawings from time to time as well. They just
All of
don't
us
show
do.
you.
They don't show you. It's the same thing with
The
generally
Instagram
social
effect.
media. People are only going to put their absolute best out.
Yeah.
because they don't want to show people the things that aren't so fantastic. They're only
Right.
putting the best of their work. You don't know how many thousands of images they have deleted, discarded, started over, don't feel proud of. You will never see them because they won't show it, but it's there. It exists.
Yeah. It's
Every
there.
single artist has that.
Mm.
So it's
Yep.
like, don't
It's there.
focus too much on
And
what you see because he's so much more than that. And even if you're average, even if you will never be as good as them for as long as you live, it's fine.
it
It's not
doesn't
just
mean you
skill
can't
that
be successful.
determines. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's not just skill is important, but it's not the most important thing. You don't have to be a prodigy artist to get by. If you know your fundamentals, if you're willing to learn, even if you're a little slower than the average person, you still have the capacity to learn, and that in itself is good enough. Just do the thing, learn, practice.
Um,
Never put down your pencil to take a break. Don't burn out. Take breaks.
Yeah.
Don't abandon your craft either.
So I'm gonna
just
jump into the next segment, which I want Shireen to take over,
Mhm.
oh,
which
what's the
is
next
the
segment?
business part of it. You mentioned commissions earlier. We want to know now, how do you prevent yourself from being a starving artist?
Oh boy. Well, I'm not quite out of the woodworks of starving artist yet. I'm really learning as I go along. I'm not like full time artist yet, though I'm trying to be one.
Mhm.
But generally, put value in your work. That's the most important thing. One of the biggest things about, we did mention this in the group some time ago, one of the biggest things, one of the biggest detriment to any artist ever is imposter syndrome, where you feel like your work is not deserving, even if you and everyone else around you knows otherwise. You just feel like, oh, but it's just me. You know, you may feel a little too modest. Oh, I don't want to take, like people's hard-earned money for my little potato drawings. Like, and you might, you'll end up underselling yourself, and you won't be able to make ends meet. And that for me is the biggest motivator. There's also other fears. Social media is the Wild West, especially the art community. So it can be very demotivating when you hear people's art getting stolen and people criticizing their work. And it can be a very harsh environment, especially online, trying to put your work out there. And then, of course, just generally getting attention is a lot of work because you have to maintain your social media pages, you got to advertise all the time, and then you got to work with clients, and you don't know if the client is going to be reliable or unreliable, or if you'll be able to keep up with it. And for me personally, one of my biggest hurdles as a freelancing artist is just the fear of disappointing them. And sometimes you end up putting yourself in this rut, like of just fear of just not doing good enough, and then you end up not doing good enough. Like it manifests into your work. You may not be able to meet a deadline or something like that. You can lose money and all that as a process. And one of the most important things about being a freelance artist is reputation, because you do not want to be known as an unreliable artist, or else that will do a lot of problems for your business. And
Especially
unfortunately,
in Jamaica, where the
especially in
community is so
Jamaica,
small.
yeah, so it's like you need, it's a lot of extra pressure, especially when you have a lot of anxieties just generally dealing with your self-worth as an artist. And the other thing is finding clients in general, of course. I tend to get clients overseas because it's generally easier. Like, because the overseas market for art is stronger, like they understand it
They
better.
have the culture
Yeah,
established.
yeah, it's more established. Whereas in Jamaica, it's so new that one, finding a client can be really hard. And if you find a client, you get a lot of unrealistic standards pushed onto you because of the lack of understanding of how art works.
Hmm.
So, like every single friend of mine who takes on local clients, it's like one horror story after the next. Like, oh, I did all of this thing, and now they want me to change the whole design, or they're only giving me like a week to do a like 3 minute long animation, and because they just don't get it, and it's really frustrating. You know how it is. But that's the whole point. Like, we have to grow a community so that we can get more knowledge and understanding of how the arts work, so that people will have more realistic like understanding and expectations of what to get from your artist. But sometimes you still have to kind of pay the bills. So it's like, just for East's sake, we got a lot of people out of the island, so let me go talk to them first.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that actually opens up
Yes.
two questions for me.
Hmm.
One, how do you attract clients both on the island and off the island? And two, what do
Um,
you do to sort of protect yourself? Because me personally, I also work with clients off the
oh,
island.
do look at that. It's our cast. Oh yeah, this it's
Sorry.
literally just like a little goofy version of the cast from the film.
Oh
Yeah.
God, I see. There's your Goliath. I see him. I see him.
Yeah.
Right. So I was asking, how do you attract clients both on and off the island? And two, how do you protect yourself as an
Mm.
artist? Because it's almost notorious with revisions and being paid on time and just all the things that go with being a freelance artist, planning your projects, making sure you have steady work, which is not always the easiest thing to do. So how do
Yeah.
you deal with that?
Um, all right. A lot of those things you just went through were a lot of commissions as well, like the little chibis and stuff. Um, so as far as protecting myself goes, sign everything. Sometimes that's not enough. It really isn't because some very dedicated thieves out there will
We'll go in
edit
with
it out. So
Photoshop.
for me, it's like be spiteful. If they're going to steal your work, don't make it easy for them. They have to work to steal it.
I
And
have.
also, as far as attracting clients goes, I am just active with the community
Hmm.
because I realized that one of the best ways to get people to want to buy stuff from you is if they care about you as an artist and as a person. Like you build a sort of relationship between you and the people supporting you. So for me, a lot of things is I'll interact a lot. So like I find this, I network with a lot of artists, like whether locally or overseas. There are a lot of artists on like my accounts and everything. So interact with them. I support their work. If they have commissions, I share the commission sheets. Occasionally I'll buy a commission from them. I do fan art of their characters, stuff like that. You know, I get myself involved as an artist in them, and it kind of expands the community in general. And it's really the community that keeps the community going more often than not. Like the money circulates between artists. So that's how I mostly find it. When I get enough people to kind of notice that, oh, here's she, you know, I want to support this artist. I care about this artist. It kind of makes getting clients a little easier because now your friends, your art people will want to buy from you. It'll also help with exposure more. Like when you do something for them and you deliver it and then they post it and then people in their circles find you and it just kind of like
Mhm.
expands your pool of clients.
Right,
So
right.
that's basically how I do it. It's like, you know, exposure. So like a good amount of also, even if it's not directly clients because you did a commission or whatever, just being active in general is a huge help. Like last year, I got a good spike of new people following me and a good amount of pretty regular clients as a result because I just post art a lot. So this character I made, Coco, which is the girl with the poofy hair and the big titties, um, I did a drawing of her last year, like mid last year, and it got very popular. It got the most feedback, the most interaction I've ever gotten on an art post. I drew her like straightening out her hair, just typical girl things. You got hair day, you got to do your hair and everything. And one artist that also has a huge following found it and reposted it on her account. And before I knew it, I got a huge influx of new people following me in turn. The post got a lot of
I
traction and I
don't
got new
think it's in
clients.
the Jan group. I think
No, I didn't post it in the group.
the
But that was
animation of Coco would be the one of her kissing in the Jan group, right?
yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
she did the kissing one.
Yeah.
Um,
It's one of the more recent ones. I'm not sure. But yeah, the one with the smooch. I may have shared it instead of posting it directly. Maybe that's why. Well, it is on my YouTube channel, so you can always check there.
and also you're on a lot of different social media
Platform.
because I've heard you. I know you're in Discord because I'm in the Discord group with you. You're on Facebook.
Yeah.
I'm there with you too, and
Facebook, YouTube,
Instagram,
Instagram, Twitter.
YouTube.
Granted, a lot of them, I do find it hard to manage all of the platforms. I'm actually looking to have somebody help me manage my social media because I am not very good at it. But I am at least trying to be everywhere. I also have a TikTok, which I haven't updated because, again, I kind of need a phone in order to get the phone-centric apps back and running. But
Uh,
yeah, I'm pretty much as many places as you would find an
and
artist.
you would kill it on TikTok because so many of your animations are, just these little short, repeatable, loops.
Mhm.
Like
I
you would
won't
kill it on
lie.
And you
TikTok.
like memes,
And I
so
love memes.
Yeah, and you love memes. So
I
perfect
have
formula.
3 animations on TikTok. And honestly, I was not expecting much traction, but it got a good amount of traction.
that's because
um,
that's your audience. That's
yeah.
the
Yep, yep.
Like when I
I
found out how far reaching one of the animations I put on TikTok got, I was genuinely shocked. Like people I never told about any of my art social medias was like, oh my God, look at this adorable TikTok. It looks like you would like it. And lo and behold, I'm looking at my own animation.
Ah,
it's beautiful. That's the best thing. It comes back
Yeah,
around.
yeah.
Um,
So,
so I have another question.
mhm,
So we're talking about commissions and social media and all of that. What was
mhm.
your first commission? How did that feel? Like what's the first time you got paid for
Oh
that?
God. Okay, I need to think way back. The first time, okay, so this would have to be in 2 parts. The first time I got commissioned in general versus the first time I got commissioned and paid in actual money.
Hmm.
ah.
So my first commission was back in the days of DeviantArt.
Ooh, it's still
Oh wow.
around. It's still
It's still
around.
Yeah,
around.
it's still
I mean,
around.
like back when DeviantArt was like at its
The-
prime, like it was the
Back
place
when
for the
Deviant
artist.
Art was
To be.
artificial. There she is.
There
There's
she
Deborah.
is. There
Founder.
she is. Founder.
Mm.
Yeah. So I have like little After Effects tempered versions on YouTube, and just something to make it look cute. So my first commission in general was back in DeviantArt. Back when we used to pay in Deviant points, and I remember I wanted to do commissions and everything. At that time, I was purely traditional. Like I did not have a tablet or anything like that, so I did everything traditionally. And I got my first client, and they wanted me to do like a drawing of OC and like some armor and everything. And me, super pumped up, immediately went to work, pulled out my paints, pulled out my colored pencils, my ink, and everything. And I just went ham and I did the best I could. Scanned it, submitted it. They were like, yo, that's incredible. And I like reposted it on their account. And I felt so good about it. I mean, half of the time I was like nervous, like, oh no, what if it's not good enough? Which is still something I do to this day, which is kind of stupid, but I'm learning how to not do that bit by bit. But I remember I felt so elated, like somebody is willing to give me something to get art from me, and that blew my mind. But I never really did commissions after that for a little while because I kind of fell off of DeviantArt and I had to be starting from scratch. I rebranded into a different name, and so I'm building up from scratch. And then I
I too no
remember,
longer use my Deviant Art name.
yeah, I've actually rebranded 3 times. My third and current one is Hachi Cook, which I think I'm going to make like my proper official thing. I have reasons for abandoning the other 2. So,
Yeah, I've been wondering about that because like when I'm there searching for you, I'm like, okay, this doesn't have any recent stuff. This can't be an active page. And then I see another page and I'm like, okay, maybe this is it. Wait, but this looks like old stuff too. What's
yeah,
going on here?
there
Why does
are
she have
some
so many
old stuff.
identities? Who is she hiding from? It's like, is
Uh,
there someone in Botswana looking for you?
no, I don't think
No,
so, but I do have 3. And I tend to be somebody who gets bored of things and wants to start over. It's something I
Oh,
kind of have to put rails on, but like I kind of have a thing going now, so I'm going to stick to it, and I have been for the last 4 years almost. So
mm,
I don't think I'm going to rebrand from after this. I should be okay. I just need to be careful, or else if I make the same mistakes I did in the past, I may have to rebrand again, and I don't want to do that because I have to start from scratch, and I'm
no,
yeah.
late in
no.
the day. I'm almost in my
Yeah.
mid 20s. I'm not doing that anymore. We're
No, what
sticking
you
with
do
Hachi
is
Cook.
you have different usernames because my gamer tag is completely different from my artist tag.
I get
So
that.
Yeah, same
Although
so
it
I
thing.
does
don't mix
help.
those
Yeah.
communities.
It does help to be consistent, especially like if you want to find business on multiple places, it's best to have like the same name, unless you don't want people to find you, then
No,
get something
no,
else.
because gaming is different from art for me. So I have
Uh,
my art
oh,
and
you don't,
social media and all of that is the same
and you're
name. But
gaming.
then
You don't want
gaming,
them to mix. In that
Yeah.
sense, that makes sense. That's fine. So, what was the question? Oh, how
What
I
was
felt
it?
about my commission.
Your
Right.
first commission.
Right. The first monetary commission. Monetary is the right word, I hope. I'm sorry. I throw words out
Yeah, I
without
think
knowing
it
what they
is.
mean half the time. Right. So the first commission I got that was actual money involved was a couple years ago, actually. Like, yeah, a couple years ago when I was on this current account. I'd been thinking for a while, like I kind of want to do commissions, but I'm not too sure about it. And again, this goes back to underselling yourself.
Hmm.
Don't do that, guys. I did it for a while, but I've been slowly pushing my prices up, so I'm getting somewhere. My first commissions were $2, $2 US. Very, very
Interesting.
pittance amount of money. But for
That,
me, it
yeah,
was more like I wanted to kind of like dip my toe in, and I did not want to have the immense pressure of taking all these people's money and then I mess up. So like if I mess up a $2 commission, it doesn't take much out of you to refund $2 to somebody, right? So I kind
right.
of did that just as a way to stick my toe in. And I did a thing. They were traditional as well. I tend to switch between digital and commission and digital and traditional depending on how my equipment is going. Um, so when I did the $2 commissions, the first one I got, I delivered it within hours because my speed is inconsistent in the sense that I will finish something in hours or it will take me weeks. There's no in between. I'll either super fast or I slog. So, um, yeah, so I finished that. I delivered it. She was like, yo, this is amazing. She posted it. She made her new profile picture. It's just like, this artist is doing this thing for $2. And before I know it, I got like 20 clients. I just got a huge influx of
20
people wanting
clients.
cheap
You said that's
commission.
$40.
That's
$40
$40.
for 20 pieces of work. GG.
It's a cha-ching.
Yeah.
Rich.
Not much, of course. $40 in reality can't do much, but I mean, I don't have a lot of expenses, so for me it was like cool because
Mm-mm.
I live with people, so we all kind of help pull in funds so that we can all stay afloat. So it's not 100% on me to, provide monies and stuff. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, that's how I felt. And it was super like overwhelming in the sense that people want to buy my work. That's insane. But then at the time, this led up to my 1 year of burning out. I did not know how to pace myself. So I just took on way more than I could handle.
Well, I
I
mean,
would
you
dish
have to
out
think
stuff.
about it. The thing is, whenever you, and this is what happens to everybody, when
Hmm.
you charge too little, you have to take on more clients. And then you
Yeah,
get burnt out. And then you realize, I
this
can't
is
keep this up. I can't
yeah,
keep doing this. And then when you
yeah,
find out that someone whose artwork is not as good as yours charged more than you do, then you think, wait, what? Why am I charging so little? If he's charging that much, I need to revamp.
yeah.
But
I
it's a
went through the
process.
whole phase. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
For
process we
me,
all have to go
one
through.
of the main reasons I decided to charge small was kind of just to garner attention, which did
Yeah,
work in the long run because I did
doing it
find
well.
people who are regular payers, and even when I increased my prices, they're still willing to pay. So for me, it was more of a marketing strategy, if I can put it that way. Like free
Mm-hmm. No,
samples
it was
to
a
get
good
people
strategy.
interested in your work. So that's what
Yeah,
I did. So super cheap commissions for a little bit, got a lot of new people, I got a lot of new followers, yada yada yada, and then it slowly built up my clientele pool. So as I started bumping up my prices and offering more types of commissions, I got a pretty steady amount of people who were willing to pay for my work, and now I'm
right,
charging. Like my cheapest commission is $15, and it doesn't take anything out of me to do it, so it's not so bad. So
right,
we're
right.
slowly working our way up. Now the range of my commissions is between 15 and $200, depending on what you want. So yeah, it's not bad. Of course, I charge
Cool,
in US entirely. So yeah.
cool,
Okay.
cool.
Um, so this raises the question because a lot of artists ask us this all the time. And excuse my lack of S in that word just now, but
It's fine.
um,
It's fine.
yeah, they ask, how do you get your payment? Because you're here in Jamaica, how do you receive your payment in the US? Like,
Oh
is it
yeah.
because that's
Yeah,
been a
that phase.
I
barrier. I
will I will admit there is a lot of gymnastics. There is a lot of gymnastics. I always have to involve other people in one way or the other because in and of itself with Jamaica you can't do much. As far as if
Yeah.
I usually what I would do to get the money is I'm actually kind of sharing an account with my partner. And so if there's an emergency, he can like through Scotia he can withdraw the money, but they have like this hefty fee. Otherwise, what I'll do is again through him and another friend, I'll send the money to a friend overseas, and then he will be able to transfer that money into hard money and then send it back as like money in your account. So, but then
Okay.
of course between the transfers you lose money because to send it from one PayPal to another PayPal it takes money, and then to like do a withdrawal and then to send it back to Jamaica they take even more money out. So it's like you
Yeah.
always have to
Like
work with extra
5.5%
money.
per transfer.
Yeah. So you always
Right.
have to like keep in mind when you price everything that you're going to lose a chunk of that money in order to get it. But it's just like when you're trying to survive, you just gotta.
Yeah. I'm
Gotta
trying
do
to
what
find
you
a
gotta
flyer. I'm trying to find a flyer because I saw something come up about e-commerce. Something about e-commerce that's coming up today. Flow is posting. It's what's it? Your own business suite, Flow Business, something something. Get e-commerce ready in 7 days. I have no idea if this will be of any help. I'm just attending it this evening because I want to see, are they going
Oh,
to provide a solution to our
the issue.
e-commerce problem that,
yeah.
it's a big problem for artists, and for
It
some
is.
reason it's been a problem for, I mean, forever really and truly, but I know of this problem from like around 2005 maybe, when I used to attend Jamaica Design Association meetings, and
Man.
they would go to they would go to like other people's meetings, like when they have these big business conferences talking
Hmm.
about e-commerce, and the question always came up, how can I get my PayPal money straight to my bank account? And
Oh,
the business people just go around and around in circles.
In
It's just
circles.
sad to look that 2018 would have made 10 years since that time. So now this is what, 13 years,
and we
and
still have the
still,
issue.
The issue is still there.
Yeah.
it
But
does.
Um,
And
living in
Payoneer,
Jamaica as an artist is as somebody who's a freelancer in general, you're basically on like hard mode by default because everything's hard.
man,
no, that's
man,
why we're the most passionate people, because if you're starting in hard mode,
If you're starting hard mode, you're unstoppable and things get a little
you
easier.
have to like it.
yeah,
You
Yeah,
have to
yeah,
you
like
really do. You have to be passion driven or else this will just demotivate you like completely. So
yeah.
it's like if
This is
you
what I
care
saw.
enough, yeah.
So I
Okay.
have no idea what I'm
Um,
going to learn from this, but I'm checking it out tonight at 6, I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
okay. Well, let's talk
Exciting.
about the other forever artist problem that we have, and
Mm-hmm.
your solutions to it. Now I know we have things like ShipMe, Rocket Ship, IP couriers, and they can allow you to easily get items below a certain level and price and weight into Jamaica without
Mm-hmm.
having to go down to customs. But I saw Jafta put out a flyer recently about
Mm-hmm.
asking creatives in the media industry what they would want to see in the Customs Act, because I think they're reviewing that and they're presenting that. So, how have you dealt with customs, like getting
Getting
things down
things.
to Jamaica? For example, you said you got your tablet recently. I also got my tablet. My Wacom Bamboo, they don't make it anymore, so it's an old boy.
I
Um,
get that.
so I had to switch to XP pen because I cannot afford a Cintiq.
I
But
switched to Huey on. I switched to Huey on.
I know
Oh
the
boy.
so and they had a sale, so I took advantage of the sale and said,
I
okay,
know.
I'm gonna get myself a nice big pretty tablet as a way of loving me and my art. Um, that came down in somebody's suitcase because if I had brought that through customs, that would have been an
Fully
actual
ridiculous.
knife. Yeah. So how do you get around the customs issue? For example, merchandising or just bringing down equipment or
Um,
just managing in general, the business aspect on here.
Right. So I won't lie. One thing about me is that I work with very little, more because I don't have a lot like available. But I do try. One thing I like to do is, does it work? I'll make it work, even if it's not the most ideal thing. It's actually to the point that some of my like foreign art friends like look at my work and marvel, like, you literally don't have anything. How are you still producing all of this work?
Did you
So
make it work?
I'm a bit of a scavenger in that sense. So honestly, I haven't had to get a lot of things online. Not because I don't want it, but more just because it's like, it's not something I have access to, so I'll just have to work without it. But as far as my tablet, my first tablet that I got in 2014, which was a Wacom Intuos Manga, I got pretty much the same way you did. I had a relative fly, like, put it in their suitcase and give it to me directly. Yeah, but when I lost that tablet after 6 loyal years of absolute torture, because I used that thing really hard, as you can imagine, I had to get another replacement, and through that, I do know a person, like a little business in town. They also offer to like, they're like a repair shop. We had been using them a lot because all of our stuff was just breaking for the last couple of months. So they had done laptop repairs, phone repairs, all that kind of stuff. So they kind of established like a kind of trust with us because we've been, not giving trouble. We pay everything on time. But so I realized after a while that we would be able to order things through them, So I ordered a tablet through their company, and they did all of that stuff for me, and I would just have to go to them and pick it up. Granted, with COVID and everything going on, I got the tablet way later, which is why I got it on Christmas Eve. But I
That's a
never
nice
went back
Christmas
to the
present.
phone. It was like a Christmas miracle.
Well, look what it gave you. It gave you all of the opportunities. You enter Kingstoon, you're Artist of the Month. And who knows what else it's going to give you. They're going to show your film at Kingstoon. Someone else might be interested. You might meet other artists who want to collaborate, maybe help with your next film.
Yeah,
so,
definitely. I have so many other things I want to make. So yeah, I got my tablet down.
Great. And in fact, we're coming up on the hour-and-a-half mark, which is where I want to close things off. But before I let you have the last word, which is basically telling us, what's next, what's in store, I want to. I hope my old brain didn't lose train of thought. I want to. Oh God. Oh yes. I want to tell you that one of the things that we want to allow for you as Artist of the Month to do, if you want, we're giving you the opportunity to actually come on. Is it an Instagram live, or would it be something like this where they get to demonstrate some things? Like if you want to actually draw something live, or if you want to, even if you want to pre-record it and just be on there talking to people, you take it away, Sharon. You're the one who conceptualized this, so please.
Okay, so from the notes, it was actually a YouTube live. You could come here and still be on YouTube because that's what we did with the comic panel.
Oh, that's fine.
So, but thinking about it, not everybody knows how to do. You wouldn't have to figure out how to stream to YouTube. Don't worry, we know that part. We're not gonna ask you to learn OBS or Streamlabs or either.
I mean, I do use OBS. I just don't stream very much. Yeah. I recorded a lot of my animation process.
Okay.
Yeah, so you have the opportunity. If there's anything you want to share, any artwork you want to do, if you want to show the process of something that you have, in the pot cooking, this is your time to shine.
Oh, that would definitely take advantage of that. Definitely. Part of me is thinking I would probably take like character requests. Like if there's anyone who wants to like possibly have a character drawn or something, and I could like do that whole thing live. Plus I do have confidence in my speed as an artist. So I don't think it would take forever. Like I could do like a kind of like the standard to have my main commissions out, which is pretty much just flat clean-ish lines and a little highlighting. I can do that in like 2 hours tops, so that
Wow.
wouldn't be a problem. So kind of like what they do over on Twitter and Instagram, where you kind of like have an art raffle, and it's like I'll select somebody and I will do this thing live, and you get free gift art, that kind of thing. I could do that. I could also probably do like a little rundown of my process when I animate. Who knows? I'll have to think about it. I do have ideas.
We can post a call out, for
Yeah.
people to have
Oh,
character
oh,
suggestions.
yes.
Send
So
it
what I
out to the
could do,
community.
is probably have somebody, one person to win a sketch animation, because I could do that pretty fast. Like no line art and color, just like a simple sketch animation, like the animations I've been posting, and then another for like just a drawing, like an illustration. So I could probably do that, and I
Okay,
just do
cool.
it live. Yes.
So, what's next? What's in store for Hachi in the future? What's she cooking up next?
What's cooking up?
I won't lie, something I have dreamt of doing since I was very
Animating Aki
young.
Girl? Yeah, man, I totally agree.
I'll get
That's not
around
what you
to
were gonna
that
say?
too.
Oh, sorry.
I will get around to that. I definitely, Aki Girl has a special place in my heart. I need to expand on her. She was so much fun. So one thing I definitely have been wanting to do for a very, very, very long time is animate a fight scene.
Ooh, pull me
So
in
I
for
have to
that.
be
Pull me in
I,
for that.
game. Honestly, I have everything. Like I've already started pre-production, like planning the characters, the setting, everything. That is something I've wanted to do for a long time. I have to be doing a lot of research because, to be honest, fights choreography is not my strongest suit, but that's all the more reason why
It's a skill set.
I really want to animate a fight scene.
Hey,
Probably just like a minute.
I choreograph fights for a living. You can always
Beautiful.
use me.
All
I can
right,
help
you
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 choreograph
actually
stuff.
do
Like
the
fight action stuff. I mean,
Yeah,
you could see I attempted. I want, like in the film, which I will not divulge too much about because I want people
right.
to watch it in Kingstoon if it gets selected. If not, I'll
Watch
just
it
put it
in
on
Kingstown,
YouTube.
people. Watch
Yeah,
it.
if not, I'll put it on YouTube and I'll just share it. Like,
or you could enter it in another festival. We
I
are
could
here
do
for
Yes.
that.
that.
I
Yeah.
could do that actually.
That is a
Yes.
service we offer. Like, tell
Yes,
us like where you're looking for, and we can help you
beautiful.
choose
I
We can
will.
help you
festivals.
I will
we can
take
help
you
you
up on
find the
that.
right festivals. We
For
may not be able to help you pay for them, but we can help you find
yeah,
the right
we,
festivals.
we can give
It's
you
fine.
knowledge.
I'll take any amount of help I can get. I want to get my stuff out there. So yeah, my main like big major plan is I want to animate a fight scene, probably a minute long, and I already know which characters I want to use. I already have thought of the setting. I just need to like plan everything properly. There's gonna be like weapons and pew pew stuff and all that kind of jazz going on, and some mystical stuff here and there. So yeah, that's my new big plan. I definitely want to do that before the year is out, though. And that aside, I'm just doing the usual commissions and just drawing whatever I feel like for the most.
Okay, so that being said, tell people where to find you then, so those
Right.
watching this video know where they can go if they want a Hachi commission.
Yes. So I am on, I would not suggest Instagram at the moment, but I will put my link out there. I'm basically Hachi Cook, Hachikoek on everything. Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. I'm Hachi Koeksister on Facebook. You can like, there's a little follow button. You don't need to add me as a friend, but I'm there and I'm most active on Facebook. So you can follow me there as well. And my email for commission inquiries is hachikoekcomms@gmail.com.
Okay.
And yeah, so that is me. Oh, and TikTok. If you use TikTok, Hachikook as well. Cool.
Okay, cool. Yeah, man, I'll definitely do that. Definitely follow
All
you
right.
on. All right, cool. Well, thank you again for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yes,
Yay.
Hachi Cook, Deborah Brown, people.
Yeah.
We've revealed her name. Our
That
first,
man is Bruce Wayne.
yep, our first artist of the month. And just in case anybody wants to know how we choose our first artist of the month, it is based on how active you are, how much we see you're improving. Um, and when we say active, it doesn't have to be just animation. It can be
Anything.
illustrations, it can be coloring, it can be even writing.
Or
Right now
music.
or music, acting. You know, offer
Oh,
to offer to do some acting for one of Hachi's animations, and you can use that clip as your portfolio
yes.
reel.
The more people I
Um,
can collab with, the better. I love working with people,
yeah,
which
man.
is weird because I'm an introvert, but I still love working with
I don't know
people.
why people think introvert means you don't like to talk to
Yeah,
people.
People.
It just means
Right?
exactly.
I love
a
talking
break.
to people. I just
You
get
just
tired.
need a break. Yeah,
Yeah, that's pretty much
it's
All
it.
right. So, Deborah, it was really, really lovely having you. I really, really enjoyed this
It was nice
conversation.
being here, and I'm sorry that it's really hard to reach to find me. I'm kind of ridiculous in that sense. I am working on it. I am
Well,
working
now we
on
have
it.
your email. So,
They have my email.
but yeah, thank you.